Hello, hello. Good morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you might be in geographical delight. Tonight, we'll be talking about being overwhelmed. And right now, I could definitely speak for myself, probably quite a lot of people, that the last few years have been toxic, absolutely toxic to the human health, the spirit, the heart, mind, everything right now is suffering. 2 years ago, just about at this point, yep, 2 years ago, I started to have a lot of changes and really didn't know what the hell was going on with me. I started to have like floaters in my eyes, which is fairly normal. Ophthalmologist told me eye pressure, everything's all right. It's just age related macular degeneration. So I'm like, all right. My knees kind of like popping, not really going so well. Very unusual. Then I start getting dizzy, imbalanced. I close my eyes, feel like someone spun me around a few times. Then my left forearm just like woke up one day like pins and needles in my arm, from my forearm down to my fingertips. Doesn't go away. Go get that checked out. Doctors think I have carpal tunnel arthritis. So then I go, that's just strange because it's not going away now. The tingle in my arm, it's like 6 months now after that point. So then I'm like, something is really going on. And I start to have problems with my right leg. Really can't lift my right leg. Super weird. I used to, I'm not at the beginning of my life fairly out there, but we have radical changes. So in my teenage years, I was a big boy. I was pretty fat. I was obese. I was close to 300 pounds. I was 280 pounds from like 14 to 24. I was a fairly big guy. Now I'm getting off track. But what the hell? I lose things sometimes. Whoop! And we're back. I got it. All right. So we used to be able to run. I didn't run too much, but I used to run maybe like 3 miles every week on an elliptical. I don't like running outside. That shit fucks my knees up. All right. I'm in New York City. I'm not going to the park. All right. So anyway, and then I've been having sprains. Can't lift my fucking leg up. It's crazy. Just like a radical drop in like 8 months. Huge difference in my leg and everything. So there was just a lot of stuff that I had to pick up, start to deal with because I couldn't work. I couldn't work. I've always been a chef working in the kitchens. Slippery. There's a lot of physical demand, a lot of bending, reaching down, putting stuff away in freezers, cleaning stuff up. Everything's slippery. Wearing non-slip shoes. The only good that wearing non-slip shoes does is making sure that when you do break your ass and slip on the floor, that you can actually sue them or do something because you were wearing technically the right type of shoes. But anyway, that's getting off topic here. So, ultimately, shit is just overwhelming. So I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with me. Then I get diagnosed. I finally go to a neurologist who's like, this kind of sounds a little sketchy. Get MRIs done, and I found out that I got multiple sclerosis. So I went from being a completely able-bodied person to basically within 2 years now. I mean, I hate to say it. but you know, like I cannot do what I used to do before. And it psychologically is a lot to deal with because you know, especially with this condition, thank God I'm blessed that at least I can walk. I can do almost everything I could before, but it takes a lot of effort to do that. And you feel normal for the most part. Other than the fact when you need to do something physically, at least for myself, with MS, everybody's different. For me, you know, you don't know that anything's wrong until you stand up, till like, you know, you need to call on your body to do those things that it used to do. And even in that sense, you do have to call on your body to do things. You have to make a concerted effort to just walk, to locomote, to, you know, make sure when you get up that you don't fall over and stuff. It's just, it can honestly be depressing. It can be a lot, especially as a 32-year-old. It's a lot to have to deal with, and I'm sure that there are other people who, especially with COVID, not even COVID, but the vaccines now, what's starting to happen with the vaxes, this is you know, it's only going to get worse and worse, and I'm sure that unfortunately, fortunately it's the case. But there are a lot of people who can probably relate to a lot of difficulties going on in the past few years. Got the economy just going to hell in a handbasket. But you know, that's the thing. You have to, you know, what are you going to do? You got a job that's involved with the economy? No. You know, probably in some way we all contribute. But aside from that, unless you're putting the interest rates in and things like that, just worry about what's going on around you because either way, as humans, we're just not designed to mentally occupy this massive space, you know? Like we're not there yet. We have a lot of information out there and it's great. But really you need to like compartmentalize this information because you just have to like abstract everything. And there's just no way that we can handle that. We're just not ready for it. We haven't been in these type of massive populated scenarios, and even if you're in a small town now, if you're on a cell phone, especially if you got Instagram, Snapchat, you got TikTok, God forbid, you got that stuff on your phone, it doesn't matter now. That's why the neural link, this and that, it's like boop, we're all connected anyway. Doesn't even matter. That's why I highly, anyway, where we're going, you know, shotgun spread over here, you know. That's why we're trying to keep it shotgun spread instead of a shotgun to the head. Because man, sometimes it just gets to be too much. I've been running around like fucking crazy. I mean, thank God I have the time. Right now I haven't been employed for a while. There's been no gainful employment going on. Been trying to do everything I can, but you know, not being able to work a full schedule, also having a disability. A lot of employers right now, they don't want to deal with any type of lawsuits and shit. So I don't know, at least it's not helping. Doesn't seem to be helping my employment. But really, my area of expertise is something that I cannot do anymore. You know, I used to be a cook, I used to be a chef, a manager, and it's just something you can't really do virtually. So, and it would be great if I could just have some type of, you know, supervisory role, but for the most part, it's not going to work like that unless you're like an executive chef or they're willing to make exceptions for you. But again, right now, the way the job market is and stuff, they're not looking to have any extra employees they don't need. So if you can't fulfill the full role, guess what? There's like a million other people that they can find to replace you. It's been super cutthroat, the job market. So God bless anybody out there who's going through that shit right now, especially in a city. It's crazy, man. It's always been a meat grinder, but it's more so than ever. Any type of entry level work is just out of control right now. They're just eating people up, and I mean we're getting flooded with people who pretty much will handle any type of work because the pay is a lot better than where they came from. So It's crazy. There's so many crazy things going on. So forget about it. If you got anything serious going on in your life, which guess what, everybody does, it's just that's why there's so much fucking chaos and craziness going on right now because you can't even fucking anticipate the stuff that's going on in other people's lives. And there's like, people are on a hair trigger, just walking around. Be on your best behavior in New York anyway, because you have no idea, man. Somebody who just fucking flip that switch for them, and you'll find out. Fuck around, find out. Definitely gonna find out. So anyway, back to the whole thing. I mean, being diagnosed from that was November of 2022 with MS. But before then, I mean, I pretty much, yeah, I haven't been working for a long time. It's been super difficult. I've been trying to find remote work and everything like that. It's just, I'm taking things in a practical way. I mean, there's a lot of shit I need to get done medically. So I'm trying to get a lot of this stuff sorted out. Thank God I'm able to get the medication I can. It pretty much stop the dramatic fluctuations in my symptoms, but without all this work being done like physical therapy and taking those breaks because there's a lot of inflammation in my brain and my spinal cord because of the MS. So there are times where it flares up, the heat, stress, a lot of normal things that would make you fucked up as a normal person, they just fuck with you more. If you don't like the heat, well, guess what? When you're sweating and you're hot, it's like your body starts breaking down. I may as well be like fucking wax, made of wax, because like my legs, my limbs don't work. My fucking lower back starts to get crazy where I can't even like lift my legs. And I'm just like, I feel like I need to collapse into a pile of mush. So it's just a lot of shit to be able to deal with. I thank God for my wife every day because, it just really having that ability, whether it's a family member or just a friend, somebody that when shit gets rough for you, you could at least have some type of crutch there to help you out because, you know. So getting back to the point though, you really need to focus on things one at a time because a lot of things can overwhelm you. I mean, look at that. I'm sure it's like overwhelming just hearing some of that. But there's a lot of things going on for everybody. So, it's really good to just sometimes stop, take a minute, and just really process the fact that without your health, there really is no way of going forward without hurting yourself in the long run, you know? So that's why, even if work is a super big part of your life, and it was for me, I really wanted to get to the top where I needed to be in the cooking industry because you have to put a lot of hard work into that. Otherwise, it's not going to pay off, and that's the truth in a lot of things. So the fact that I had to abandon that, that there's a lot of different things that might come up in your pursuits throughout your life, but you can't give up in that sense. You might have to readjust yourself and reorient, unfortunately. That happens for many reasons. Sometimes we might just not be good enough, you know? That's the worst, really, I guess, if that's something you absolutely wanted to do. But either way, take a step back and realize that sometimes being told no or failing at something, it's just a way of knowing what not to really pay attention to anymore. You know, you might really find yourself just trying, just observing the things that really haven't worked out for you, or just you're not interested in. Because throughout my life, that's what's really helped to narrow things down. I've always liked everything. You know, I from a little kid, I'm always one. It's just overwhelming. Where it's like there are so many things that I like, and I don't know if I'm great at them, but I'm good at them, and I want to get better, and I want to understand more about them. So you know, for me, it was knowing what I didn't like, especially with relationships and women, and because that can be a whole headache, you know. But I had two older brothers, so I could live through them in that sense, and it was actually it helped a lot, you know. But nowadays with the internet, back to that point, is that you know there's so much stuff out there where you could pretty much learn anything, and you just have to apply yourself and look for it, and you know, again, seek that. What you seek you will find, and if not, then maybe it'll be you. Maybe it'll be you'll be the first one to really make that discovery. But yeah, you know, just gotta take a step back sometimes, and really, you know, like if it was a health situation, like I said, maybe the first thing you'd have to do is take a step back and really say, you know, can I make this sacrifice, and you know, whether it be stay in a friend's care or stay with family, or you know, or whatever it is, take a week off from work and go to those doctor's appointments, get things figured out, you know, one thing at a time, see what needs to be done first, and just really work on those things. And you know, making a list, that stuff, I mean, with MS, and it tends to affect memory and everything, but you know what, a lot of the things that happen with MS, pretty much everybody's going to experience at some point, at least to some degree. It might not be as bad and as frequent, and you know, a disease and damage done to your anyway. But doing these things that really help to get stuff in order, creating a little bit of order, because no matter what, life's chaos. So you know, keeping a journal, making post-its and lists of things that you need to do, or even sometimes writing down stuff, like a bunch of things that are, like, you know, pros and cons for things, and just seeing those things on paper. Or let's say you need to remember something. For a lot of people, including myself, you write things down, it definitely helps to burn that into your memory. There are things I can remember that I've written on post-it notes, just because of the fact that I wrote them and they were on this like unique colored paper, and I had to specifically, you know, press that onto the wall or wherever it might have been, and it has a place, you know. I remember looking at that place, seeing that post-it note. So you know, I'm good with that. I can recall. I'm a visual photographic memory, so that helps for me. But yeah, a lot of these things, you see what works for you, and you really just have to pay attention to yourself, the things around you, like what's working, what's not, and keep adopting more of what's working and dropping off the things that are not working, you know, especially with personal habits, and you know, whether it be diet and just, I don't know, being unproductive. You start small, you know, make your bed in the morning. I forget what general it was in the U.S. Military, but maybe it was Patton who said the best thing you can do is make your bed in the morning, because it gets you started. You feel a sense of fulfillment. You know, you're off on a good start. You got that bed clean and tidy. I mean, me, I'm sweating sometimes like crazy, so I gotta let that air out a little bit. But it's even better because I partly make the bed, then I gotta return to make sure I finish that bad boy. Make sure it airs out, spray it with some, you know, fragrance, make it nice, clean it up. Anyway, so yeah, you know, you try and organize the things that you can, and just create a little bit of order and work from there. Because if I didn't take that step back and prioritize these things, uh, I don't know right now. I would just like still be working, and my condition would be getting worse, and this would be really bad because I'm looking to start a family soon, and you know, my wife really wants to have a child. So I can't imagine that if I didn't catch this now, how this would have been in the future, because I could definitely have seen myself getting into a very bad accident. It already basically happened, which is why I had to stop working. And you know, I have cases now where I'm pursuing, but I don't know, man. I don't think too much is gonna happen with that. I can hope and pray, but anyway, that's just another 500. We'll get there eventually. But um thank you very much for listening today. Appreciate it. If you liked and enjoyed this, leave a like, subscribe, and if you didn't, leave a comment. I'd like to know why. I guess all the other people will as well. Anyway, you all have a good night. Take care. We'll be with you again. I just have a lot of stuff going on right now. I apologize. So I can't do these as frequent as I would like right now. I do have to really make sure I rest and don't stress myself out with all this. So I apologize, but we're definitely going to be getting these out on a relatively routine basis. When I can actually get a schedule down, I'll definitely let you guys know. But I would expect at least every other day, if not every 3 days at the maximum. But thank you guys. Appreciate your patience and you listening. Take care.